Good evening, everyone. Our apologies for starting late tonight. We had some technical difficulties here in the council chambers, but we've got everything worked out now. So I'd like to welcome you to the Perth East Council meeting this February the 3rd. I'll call our meeting to order. If everybody could please bow their head for a moment of reflection. Thank you. We need a motion to confirm the agenda. The motion is that the agenda is prepared for February 3rd, 2026, meeting of Council of the Township of Perth East be approved as received. Moved by Jeremy, second by Hugh. All those in favor? Carried. If you have pecuniary interest, Council, you can disclose that now or as we move along in our meeting. Under our consent agenda, we have 14 items. Is there any one item that someone would like pulled or they have questions on? Nope, seeing none, then we do have a motion. And the motion is that items 5.1.1 to 5.114 is set out on the consent agenda for February 3rd, 2026 regular meeting of council be received for information and that the minutes of January 13, 2026 regular council meeting be adopted. Moved by Bob, second by Andrew. All in favor? Carried. Okay, under presentations, public presentations, we do have two tonight. The first one is from Percon Development, and we have Steve Jefferson with us tonight, and Tony, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Okay, if you would like to come up to the desk, please. And welcome, and the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Eggets, members of council. I'm Steve Jefferson from K-Smart Associates with Tony Rupp. We've submitted a request to the council for your consideration tonight for support for a minister's zoning order process to be undertaken. As you may recall, we've had ongoing discussions with the county planning staff and have discussed with them the range of options and how we could pursue the approvals, whether it be the minister's zoning order or official plan amendment and zone change or just a zone change. So Mr. Bannon, township planner, provided us with some feedback last week. The county planning office is willing to consider processing applications in the most timely manner possible if we want to keep that option going. So we are still investigating that. However, because of the timeliness for Mr. Ebersol and the international organizations that he needs to provide commitments to, we still want to keep the minister's zoning order as one of the options that we would pursue. If you, as a council, do provide support for that tonight, we will continue our investigations on the best route to take. I will not promise that that would be the only path that we would pursue, but it is a vital option that we want to have to be able to proceed with the province and the county. If we do go the minister's zoning order route, we will still continue the work with the local planning staff. Through their pre-consultation process, they've provided us with the required studies that would be needed to demonstrate the appropriateness of this use at this location. So all the servicing studies, traffic, all those other studies would still be required and would be implemented through a site plan process with the township. So at the end of the day, even if we do obtain an MZO, the township does still have the final say on review of the servicing studies, all of those related matters, and the site plan process before we're able to apply for a building permit. So we appreciate the opportunity to put this request to you this evening, and I'm willing to take any questions that you have at this time.
Okay, questions from council, Amanda?
So we're crystal clear, the preference is an M's and O. Is that, because I think in the presentation, you're sort of, the letter in the package, it's an M's and O request. But you're also saying there's other options. So could you provide some clarity on like what is like I think what you guys are looking for is you guys are coming in good faith and are trying to find the quickest route to get all of the approvals done, which I respect. But I just want to be crystal clear on what we're really like. It sounds like you want us to approve the MZNO, but may also go another path.
So this request is for support of the council for the MZO process. So it is just one piece of the puzzle that we are required to have in order to proceed through that path. If the county planning staff are able to provide us with a more direct timeline, we would go that way. There's been some discussions on the provincial process on the MZOs that some of them have been taking longer than they had in the past. So while there's some benefits in the MZO process, if that means taking longer than we can with the township, then we would go with the local approvals. But we do wish to have this indication from council to help us with our decision-making process as we move forward. If we do receive your support tonight, then that is a key step that will help our clients make that decision on which path we take.
So just so I'm clear,
Okay.
because it's
Yeah.
I'm just looking for a bit more of a direct answer. So in the original presentation that we got from council, there was 3 planning options presented.
Correct.
So which secondary option are you referring to with the expedited process with the county?
The county staff have recognized this as an agriculture-related use, so we would not be required to go through the process of enlarging the Milverton settlement area in the county official plan and all of the related justifications for the incorporating it into the settlement area. We would be looking at a agriculture-related application with local decision-making, and it would be, as we see it, it would not be an expansion of the Milverton settlement area. It would be focused on the agriculture-related use aspect of it there. So, so those are the 2 primary ones, either the minister's zoning order or local decision-making for an agriculture-related use, which, depending on how the details work out with the studies that my co-workers are going on, we may or may not need an official plan amendment. It is, most components of it are that directly related to agriculture that we have the option of only requiring a zone change, which would be a township decision there as well. So I guess that narrows it down. It would be provincial decision MZO or local decision, which could be a township zoning or township zoning and county official plan amendment.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Jerry?
Thanks, through you, Mayor. So, yeah, I appreciate your presentation. Totally in support of the entire project. I'm fully in support of supporting the MZO as well. At what point, further to Amanda's question, what point would we be notified as council which route you're going to take? I'm sure that's planning yourself. Just like to know how we'd be notified which way we want.
Well, Mr. Ebersol would love to have a clear answer on the approvals by like April, May of this year. So we need to know within the next couple of weeks which way we're going. And part of that decision making is the servicing design that K-Smart Engineer is working on. We've continued the discussions with the township engineering consultant, BM Ross. They are waiting for our servicing brief so that they can respond to that and give us their feedback as well. So there's going to be a number of things happening hopefully very quickly. So once we have made that decision, we will be informing the township through Mr. Gibbons so that the township is aware of exactly which path we're going.
Okay, Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor. Again. Hello again. So we're, just want to make sure, I think I heard it in your brief statement at the beginning. So things like drainage, traffic studies, culture, all that stuff will still take place. Just the kind of the paperwork stuff at the front end to get it going will be through an MZO at least. Is that correct? So, like
Correct.
all the other stuff will still be rational for drainage and technical studies and requirements for drainage and all that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the province still requires to see that as well. So whoever's making the decision on the land use, we have to provide the required documentation, supporting studies, and everything so that an informed decision can be made.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Nope. Thank you for your presentation.
So, just for further clarification, one of the biggest factors relates to the servicing of the proposal. That's kind of the decision making as it relates to how they're going to be able to proceed. If the intention is to connect to municipal sanitary services primarily, then an official plan amendment is required. That's captured in, that's been laid out by Jeff for them. If they're able to proceed with private services, both water and wastewater, then the focus will just be on going through the zoning process. And we think our standpoint is, in county planning staff, is, yeah, we're trying to find the best approach from a timeliness standpoint, but also understanding that there's proper approvals in place, no matter what it is. I think the group, they want to make sure they have all their options open because time is the biggest factor for them right now. So we, from a staff standpoint, prepared basically a resolution that the council can just receive this for information. But if the alternative is to support basically the request, they can forward things as it relates to the MCO. So if they chose to go that route, they would have that. One of the requirements of the is a letter of support of resolution. So they're just trying to get all their ducks in a row, no matter which direction they decide or required to take.
Okay, any more questions? Council wish to be. Jerry?
Well, I'd be prepared to move that we receive information and support the request. The council township release supports the
Okay.
So it's basically the same.
Okay. Okay, so I'll read this out. Council of the Township of Perth East received the presentation from Steve Jefferson, MCIP, RPP of K-Smart Associates Limited regarding a request for support for a minister's zoning order NZO application for 6332 Perth Road 131 for information. And that Council of the Township of Perth East supports a minister's zoning order as requested by Percon Developments, Inc. and Eli Ebersol to facilitate the development of the equestrian livestock agriculturalism venue to be known as a Waterfall Agriplex at the southeast corner of Line 59 and Perth Road 131, municipally known as 6332 Perth Road 131 in the Township of Perth East. And that council recognizes and encourages the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing to recognize the Waterfall Agriplex proposal as a regional economic development opportunity that will, 1, foster agriculture education and awareness among youth. 2, support local food bank systems. 3, promote farm-to-table activities. 4, enhance agritourism in the area. 5, provide a venue for world-class livestock shows. And 6, strengthen partnerships across sectors, including agriculture, education, and business. And that the Council of the Township of Perth East formally requests that the Honorable Rob Black, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, issue a minister's zoning order to implement the proposed development to allow the proponents to secure world-class events at the venue in a timely manner. And further, that the municipal clerk be directed to forward a copy of this resolution to MPP Ray and the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing as a statement of council's support. And further, that the municipal clerk be directed to forward a copy of this resolution to the County of Perth for their information. Jerry, you have a question?
Nope, that's what I wanted to say,
Yeah,
so I'll move that.
you'll move that. Do we have a seconder? Amanda? Okay, any more comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thanks, gentlemen.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Eggets, members of council. That is a very thorough description. I will make note of that for future documentation and justification.
Great.
Have a good night. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
very much.
Okay, and our next presenter is Justin Dietrich, and here's here for the Dog Park Committee regarding permission to proceed with the off-leash dog park project at Queenville Park. So welcome, Justin. The floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor Eggets and council members. Last time I was here, I think it was spring of 2025, but I was asking for permission to start fundraising for this project, and we had a very successful summer. We managed to raise $27,816 since from May till now. I think our rough estimates initially from the project start was about $50,000 was the estimate. And then $25,000 of that was going to be available through development fees, from my understanding. So yeah, next steps we're looking for is just to proceed with permission to start getting quotes and tender for fencing, and need to run a water line from the cemetery over to the dog park as well. And that's pretty much it, what I have for you. If you have any questions.
Questions from council? Bob?
This is more for staff, Justin.
Okay.
Given that it's township property and it's our liability, I assume it's our fence and our water line that we would be carrying. Rather than how I assume it's worded in presentation. They would-
I think that's a very fair question, and I think it's something that needs to be clarified tonight in terms of how we proceed with procurement. Yeah, and certainly if you're doing, at the end of the day, Counselor, I anticipate that yes, we will be assuming all of these things, so whether or not council's comfortable with the group proceeding with procurement, or if it's done under the guise of our own procurement policy, and then kind of ownership of that process. If council support for it.
Okay, other questions? Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor Eggets. How much is in the development fund that you mentioned? Sorry. Do you know how much is in that development fund that's being cited?
So within the development charts itself, there was 25,000 allocated for the dog park.
The previous.
And yeah, it's within the park section of the development charters, and Paul can confirm how much is of that figure has been collected, but it's beyond 5,000 from the overall. I think that's.
Well, I just want to know, is it $100,000 reserve? Is it a
No, yeah,
$26,000 reserve?
25,000 had been earmarked in the system for the dog park.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions? Not, we have a motion.
So, sorry, Mayor, maybe just for clarification, just as it relates to procuring and moving forward with that, what was the group's concept around it? What's the intent?
Yeah, that was
Part of the
going to be
conversation,
under supervision for the East Parks staff manager.
Yeah, so the committee itself would look into the design and that sort of thing, and then giving me the information, and I would go through the normal procurement policy to have everything completed.
What's the wording we tried to capture in the resolutions?
Okay, so we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the presentation of Justin Dietrich, Dog Park Committee regarding a request to proceed with the off-leash dog park project at Greenwood Park for information, and that council approve proceeding with the off-leash dog park under the oversight of Perth East Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Manager. Moving to second, moved by Jeremy, second by Hugh. All those in favor? Carried. I want to thank you and all your committee and all that you've done and the money that you've raised. That's awesome. You did it in a very short span of time. So you've done a great job and we appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have no other presentations. We have no delegations. Under public meetings and public hearings, we do have a public meeting. So I declare this public meeting to be open. This public meeting is being held to consider a proposed zoning bylaw amendment affecting property currently owned by A&D Grinnestage Farms Limited, Plan 321 Park Lot 1, 2980 Forest Road. This meeting is an opportunity for the township to advise the public of the purpose and intent of the amendment and receive their input prior to considering adoption of an implementing bylaw. If a bylaw is adopted to implement the zoning amendment, a notice of passing will be forwarded by prepaid first-class mail to various agencies of interest and others who requested notice. An appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal objecting to the adoption of the bylaw may be filed via the OLT e-file service no later than the date stated on the notice. Any persons attending this meeting who wishes to receive written notice of a bylaw passed to implement the amendment is asked to give their name and mailing address to the clerk following this meeting. No written notice, except as previously noted, will be given unless requested in writing following the meeting. All persons attending this meeting will be given an opportunity to be heard or make a presentation. I will now call on our planner, Jack Bannon, to present the planning report and recommendations. Jeff?
Thank
The
you.
floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you. So the property is located on the southeast corner of the intersection of line 34 and Forest Road. It's municipally known as 2980 Forest Road. Applicant is proposing an amendment to the zoning bylaw to rezone the subject lands from an industrial zone M1-19 zone to a special highway commercial zone, which is a C3-18 zone, to allow for a range of commercial uses with a parking rate of 1 space for every 30 square meters of gross floor area for a business or professional office. Property is designated as rural cluster in the official plan and is zoned as special industrial zone M1-19. That designation allows for new small-scale commercial and home industrial uses on private services, not employing significant numbers of people through a site-specific zoning bylaw amendment. The lands are occupied currently with a one-story commercial building that's used for the sale of motorcycles and accessories. Property is serviced by private septic and private well. And the applicant is requesting an extension of permitted uses within the existing building to help attract a more diverse range of potential tenants in the future. The existing tenant is intending to support their existing business by selling ice cream and coffee on the premises. And there are no other changes being proposed to the exterior of the building. Upper Thames River Conservation Authority have noted that they have no concerns with the application. Public notice of the zoning bylaw amendment was provided on January 14th. And at the time of writing the report, 3 responses have been provided in support of the application. 1 additional response was received today from the tenant. And again, they are in support of the report and the application by the landowner. The proposed zoning change allows for a range of additional commercial uses that are intended to meet the long-term needs of the surrounding communities and is intended to provide for employment opportunities by diversifying the economic base in the area. Existing building and parking requirements offer a very limited opportunity for expansion, and the applicant is not including or proposing any expansion to the building or to the parking lot. A reduction in parking rate for the business and professional use continues to ensure that adequate parking can be provided on the subject lands in the event that the entire existing building would be used for an office land use. Permitted uses will allow for the property owner to provide additional services in the area and helps maintain a viable commercial space. Planning staff had no concerns with the zone change amendment. The amendment will allow for the expansion of the permitted uses that remain compatible with the surrounding area, and we consider it to be consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms to the County of Perth official plan, and we feel that it represents good planning, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay, is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in opposition of the application? Anyone speaking against? Seeing no one, is there anyone present who wishes to speak or make a presentation to speak in support of the application, other than the applicant or the applicant's agent? Anyone want to speak in support? Nope, okay. Does the applicant or the applicant's agent wish to make a presentation or speak with respect to the application? Okay, we come up to the desk, please, and tell us who you are.
Good evening, Your Worship, members of council. My name's Dave Hannum. I'm a partner and registered professional planner with Zelenka Briano. We're the planning consultants of this particular application. I haven't prepared a visual or a formal presentation with respect to that this application. The purpose of the application, as Jeff had indicated, is to effectively create some flexibility with regards to the existing uses, and also to create greater viability from an economic perspective for potential users moving forward. There's no changes to the existing building or the parking area. The proposed uses that we're looking to capture here can all be accommodated within the existing site without any material changes. As the staff report concludes, and through our planning analysis, all the planning professionals agree that it meets all the relevant land use planning policy context. We've had a look and carefully reviewed the staff report. We note that the recommendation is for approval, which we welcome. We've had a look at the implementing bylaw, and that's acceptable to us too. So we would respectfully request that council concurs with staff's recommendation and approves the application.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from members of council? Jerry?
No questions for you, Mayor. This is a great spot. Everyone thinks it's in Stratford, but I'm proud that it's in Perth East. So this is a great addition. So kudos to you folks for putting this together.
Okay, anyone else? Council will consider a resolution regarding the planning report recommendation following the conclusion of the public meeting. Bylaw 208-2025 to implement the approval of the zoning application will be considered later within the council agenda. The public meeting is now concluded, and we will continue with the regular meeting of council. So we do have a motion, and the motion reads that the Township of Perth East Council received the report dated February 3rd, 2026 for zoning bylaw amendment Z08-2025 submitted by Zelenka Primo Limited on behalf of A&D Grinistage Farms Limited, affecting the lands described as Park Lot 1, Registration Plan 321, Southeast Tope Ward, Township of Perth East, municipally known as 2980 Forest Road, for information. That council held a statutory public meeting pursuant to Section 34 of the Planning Act with respect to zoning bylaw amendment Z08-2025, and further that council approved zoning bylaw amendment 208-2025. With a mover and a seconder, moved by Andrew, second by Hugh. All in favor? Yeah. Good to go. Thank you. Okay. We do not have any public hearings. We will now move down to staff reports. We have nothing from planning. CAO, we have the HR Code of Conduct. Jennifer, are you going to do that?
Yes.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess the purpose of this council report is to introduce a new human resources policy to the Township of Perth East, an employee code of conduct. It is mostly a new policy with the exception of the confidentiality section and the attire or dress code section. The recommendation is to receive the report for information and approve this as a new human resources policy, and at the same time repeal policy 2-2 confidentiality and policy 5-3 dress code. Currently, council has a code of conduct, which came into effect in May of 2016. The council code of conduct and the employee code of conduct are separate policies. However, some of the sections will have similarities. This new policy covers several topics which address the expectations and standards of behavior and conduct of township employees. On pages 2 to 4 of the report, I have provided a summary of each of the sections of the policy within the report, and the new policy is an attachment to the report. In preparing the document, other municipal employee code of conduct policies were reviewed. The management team provided their input, and the Employee Betterment Committee provided research on the boot allowance and the dress code sections. The budget impact of this report has been accounted for through the 2026 budget process and included in the 2026 budget. Thus, there are no additional budgetary impacts. It would be my recommendation to implement this policy retroactive to January 1st, 2026 to reflect the complete 2026 budget year. And it allows all eligible staff to receive the new rate for the full calendar year for the boot allowance. In summary, this new policy will provide direction for staff to meet township's expectations and establish guidelines for appropriate conduct. I would be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thanks, Jennifer. Questions on the report? You?
This is for when you're at work, right? And you're on township property. But after you're away from work and not on township property, does it still cover somebody at that point?
Through the mayor to Deputy Mayor McDermott, it would if it was a township event that was being hosted by the township.
Okay,
So in
their
some circumstances, yes,
their own time, their own place, their whatever, this doesn't cover.
correct.
Okay, any other questions? Andrew?
Thank you, Mary. Thanks for the report. Just the wording in the background in the beginning. So there's still a separate council code of conduct. This isn't overriding and making it one.
Through the mayor to Councillor McAlpine, that is correct. Two separate policies, but they have similarities to that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, then we do have a motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive a report prepared by the Manager of Human Resources dated February 3rd, 2026, entitled Employee Code of Conduct for Information, and further that Council approve Human Resources Policy CA.1.12, number 5 to 14, Employee Code of Conduct effective January 1, 2026, and repeal Policy CA.1.12, number 2-2, confidentiality and related form, and policy CA.1.12 and policy number 5 to 3, dress code. Need a mover and a seconder for that. Moved by Jeremy, second by Jerry. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Jennifer. Okay, we have no reports from the clerk. On finance, we have the 2025 tax arrears report. Paula?
Through you, Mayor, to Council. The report before Council tonight is on the 2025 tax arrears report. And Council will note that the 2025 arrears are just under 1.1 million, up a bit from 2024 at 934,000. So they are continuing to trend up. However, we're well below the benchmark of 10% for our arrears. So I'm not overly concerned right now, but we are watching the arrears and keeping a close eye on that and trying to mitigate any additional arrears increase. If there's any questions from council, I'd be happy to answer.
Questions from council? I have one question. Just to make sure. From 2024 to 2025, it went up like 62 properties. Is that correct? Like 62 new properties are in arrears? Am I reading that right?
That's correct.
That's correct? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Anyone else? If not, then we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Manager of Finance dated February 3rd, 2026, entitled 2025 Tax Arrears Report, FIN 2026-04 for information. Moved by Hugh, second by Andrew. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Paula. Okay, we have no reports from Public Works. We have no report from Building and Bylaw. Now we're down to Parks and Recreation and Community Services. With council permission, we're going to rearrange and do the ice in-out policy first, which is 8.7.2, and then we will do the spring ice request report. They flow together better if we do it the other way around. That's okay? Becky?
Thanks,
You're
Mayor. Thanks,
You're
Mayor
up.
Rhonda. With regards to the ice in-out policy, a couple of changes noted on page 2 of the report. First is the availability of ice during the regular season. Normally, planned startup is September 1st, but I'm editing it to ask that we have the ice in no later than September 9th. That just gives us enough time to get it in by the 9th, which is normally when we open it, but it also depends on where the long weekend falls on that. So it's just to accommodate that. And then as far as the last day of ice, the policy has March 31st. Typically, we've been doing the last Sunday of March as the final ice rental date. Number 3, increased hours for extending the ice time in the spring would be 30 hours average over the time frame. And then also number 4 is that the request would be going to the council rather than to myself. Sorry. Then moving on to the ice allocation and policy. A couple of housekeeping edits in there, replacing manager to ice provider as is identified in the definitions. Correcting the department name to Parks, Recreation, Community Service throughout the policy. 11.2, the hours of operation, adjusted Christmas Eve to extend to 4:30 and New Year's Eve to extend to 9 p.m. With the recent New Year's Eve celebrations that the Lions Club is putting on, we've been tagging along with that and doing public skating up into that event. And then at the discretion of the manager to have Good Friday, Easter Monday, or Thanksgiving Sunday, Monday open. Typically, if we don't have a big rental, we close. Or sorry, if we don't have a big rental, we close. If there is no rental, then we I still said that backwards, didn't I? You know what I'm trying to say. Yes, yeah. If there's people there, we're there. So 13.2, the insurance update to state that all users must purchase insurance for their rental. So that paragraph has been changed to reflect that. 13.5, special requests are to be noted at the time of booking. 13.8, the ice in-out policy as previously stated. Number 14, the removal of fees from the chart, but just stating that it's referenced to the fees and charges bylaw. And the addition of requiring of insurance. And then 15, removal of the fee chart, just referring to the bylaw. And that's all the changes that were made in those 2 policies. If there's any questions, we can answer.
Okay, thank you. Questions of the report? No question. I just had one, and I don't know if we're going to follow up with it. It was under 14, the ticket ice. The ticket ice people are required to have insurance as well, and I asked Becky like what that would cost and what that's doing to our rentals. And Becky, you can maybe.
Yeah, so ticket ice, the fee for insurance is anywhere from 10 to 12, but again, will depend on the number of participants that there's on the ice. Our rental of ticket ice this year in comparison to last year at the same time is down by 60 hours. in total, so. It is believed that that's possible. The reason is because they have to purchase the insurance. It's not convenient for if, somebody just wants to grab the ice after school, that their parents have to arrange for insurance and whatnot. So it is putting a little barrier up, I think, for those particular rentals.
Okay. I think that's maybe something that we possibly would look into. Jeremy?
No, there's no staff on board. Is basically just seen as a lesser fee rental. That's shinny hockey. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, other questions? No? Okay, then we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East received the report prepared by the manager of Parks, Recreation and Community Services dated February 3rd, 2026, entitled Ice In/Out Policy and Ice Allocation Policy Review, PRCS-2026-04 for information, and that council approves the revisions to the policy CF-1.03.04, Ice In, out policy, and the ice allocation policy as presented. Moved by Jerry, second by Jeremy. Jerry has a question. Go
Yes,
ahead.
through you, Mayor. So to your thought there about ticket ice, can we include that we bring back, staff brings back something in regards to looking at that ticket ice, or should we do that separately? I'm willing to wait or thoughts from anyone on that one?
Yeah, I would encourage council to update the policies and then, yeah, perhaps we can catch in the minutes direction of staff to revisit the ticket X program. I think, yeah, to Becky's point, I think it's probably the insurance that is, having the impact. And if it is, then maybe we need to give some consideration to another form of insurance, how much risk we're willing to assume for those. Ticket ice is seen as kind of last minute block up. So it's hard from lots of different angles. So I think, yeah, if council wants us to investigate what impacts the insurance requirement is having and what alternative if we want possibly present, that's something that we can.
Probably we do that separate, we'll do a separate motion for that. Okay, so right now what we're doing is adopting the policy. And then we'll have staff bring back more about ticket ice. Okay? Okay? Yeah, I need a mover in a second. I think we did that. Yep, we did that. So all in favor? Carried. Okay, so then Jerry would like to add that we have staff bring back more information on ticket ice insurance. So, yeah, ticket ice program maybe? Okay. Do we have a seconder for that? Amanda? Expect here a second. Is there anything specifically, anything else you want to know about ticket ice when we're on that topic? No?
We just need to get
Ticket program, yeah. Um, I'll bring back the report. Okay, and that was moved by Jerry, second by Amanda. All in favor? Okay. Okay. And we'll go back to the list, and that was the 2026 spring ice request report. Becky? Okay, questions of the report? Hugh?
Becky, when, when you said the total additional cost of staff hours and benefits would be 12,100, is that for the people having to do extra stuff in May?
Yes, so that would include the extra time to bring in staff to cut grass and that when the other staff are busy with the ice responsibilities. And then also because we'll be working on weekends, we'll be doing like 14 shifts a week rather than 10 shifts a week. So that's the addition.
At the end of the day, then if you had that 12,100, do you 12,000, sorry, 100, are you still making a profit?
Yeah, so we'd be making $5,388.20 approximate.
So that's all the extra cost for the arena plus the extra cost of people doing stuff for May. At the end of the day, it also is okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Fine. Just wanted to make sure we we're making.
Well,
Okay, other-
overall, we're not.
Sorry, other questions? So if others, I guess my one question, is so the public knows, if other groups came forward and they wanted to rent the ice during that time, that there's probably that possibility they can too as well, correct?
Yes, for sure. If you noticed on the chart, the first 2 weeks, the rental numbers are low during that time frame. So certainly there would be opportunities there. What we will do is we will go out to Surge and say, commit your hours first, Lakers, Central Perth, that sort of thing, and then open it up to one-time users and that sort of thing that they can fill in the gaps.
Good. Anyone else? If not, then we do have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Manager of Parks, Recreation and Community Services dated February 3rd, 2026, entitled 2026 Spring Ice Request Report, PRCS-2026-03 for information, and that council direct staff to maintain ice in the arena until May 16, 2026, providing there is a minimum of 30 hours of ice rental per week or a minimum of 210 hours over the 7-week period. I need a mover and a seconder, moved by Bob, seconded by Amanda. All those in favor? Carried. Thanks, Becky. Okay, we have no reports from fire. We have no correspondence. And we're down to council and committee reports. There's my mayor's meeting log for where I was in the month of January. Wes and I attended the ribbon cutting for GJ's equipment just outside here the other day. They think Wes is Wes Skipper. They were a little confused there. So he has a twin. But anyway, it was a good day. It was a stormy day and the farmers came out in record number. They were all there. So it was a really good thing, and it's really great to see it in our community. So, any questions?
I had the responsibility to go to bring greetings to the Ag Society in Stratford, and I appreciate that. And looks like they had a very good year last year. The weather was good for them, so I'm hoping going forward they have a good weather again this year, and they have another good year.
And thank you for going on my behalf. I was away last week, so you filled in. Any other council members have reports? Any of the committees? Jerry?
Yes, thanks. Just through you, Mayor, I attended Roma in Toronto, January 18th and 20th. A number of good seminars. The premier was there as well, and the other leaders for the community safety well-being plans. There was a cemetery update, kind of more for information. One of my big things, we did delegate 2 delegations, part of the Perth OPP Police Board. We met with the Ministry of Solicitor General and the Ministry of Health, requesting that we continue or some long-term funding for the MCERT program, which is a mobility response team. So yeah, that was well received. So overall, very good conference.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? We do have a motion that the mayor's meeting log dated January 2026 and the verbal report from Councillor Smith on Roma be received for information. Moved by Hugh, second by Amanda, all in favor? Carried. Okay. We are now down to bylaws. We have one bylaw that's going to be read a first, second, third, and final time, and that's bylaw 208-2025, Dina bylaw to amend bylaw 30-1999, and that was item 7.1.1. So we're reading it first, second, third, and final time. We have a mover and a seconder, moved by Amanda, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Do we have any notice of motions? Any other business? Any announcements? I do have one announcement. This time we want to thank Jennifer. Jennifer's been with us the last year in HR for maternity leave, and Jennifer's last day is going to be next week. So we thank you for being here in Perth East. All what you've done for us, can't thank you enough, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Okay, we do not have a closed session. So we're right down to confirmatory bylaw. So, and it reads that bylaw 05-2026, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the Township of Perth East at its regular meeting held on February 3rd, 2026, be read a first, second, and third time. Moved by Bob, second by Amanda. In favor? Carried. And the last motion of the night is that we adjourn at 8:02 p.m. Moved by Hugh, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night. Bye.